What's up, D&G? It's Matt, and welcome to NFL Picks. I'm sorry the long wait. For the long wait, the AFC Championships have ended, and the winners are the Bengals and the Rams, and they will be competing in the Super Bowl. My post overall, I lost track of it, but it doesn't fucking matter. Let's get into these Super Bowl picks. First, I'm going to explain that both of the stories. This is like one of the best Super Bowls we could have gotten. It's one of the best Super Bowls, in my opinion, in the last decade. Probably because I'm biased and my team's in it, but oh my God, let's get into this. My prediction. First, let's talk about the LA Rams. By the way, the Bengals are at home, even though it's at SoFi Stadium, and it's the Rams' home stadium. But the Bengals are home because that's how the Super Bowl works. It's how the NFL works. NFC got home last time, and now it's the AFC's turn. But Rams story, you got Matthew Stafford, who's suffered in Detroit for about a decade. He's finally trying to prove himself as a quarterback who's been doubted. Everyone says he's been good, but he's been on a terrible franchise. He's trying to prove the doubters wrong. I mean, this whole Super Bowl is proving doubters wrong. You got Odell Beckham, who was traded in the middle. He got kicked out out of Cleveland. They didn't want him anymore on the Browns. They thought Baker Mayfield was the problem. And they're trying to prove that now, even though I think he was the problem. You got Von Miller chasing another ring. He was added. The Rams are just this super team, and they're supposed to be here, but the individual players are trying to tell a story here, trying to prove the doubters wrong again. You got Aaron Donald trying to get his first ring. He's been one of the greatest defensive players this decade, or these last 5 years. Ever since he's been in the league. Who you got? I mean, you got Leonard Floyd. You got Cooper Kupp having an amazing season as a wide receiver. Now let's look at Andrew Whitworth, who just got Walter Payton Man of the Year, and he's a former Bengal. Now let's talk about the Bengals. You have a team 2 years ago that was 2-14, first pick in the draft, and they get Joe Burrow. Next year, he gets injured. They finished 4-11-1. Their record, Dax Taylor record's not good. He's on the hot seat, and he was taken from the Rams. He was the offensive uh, assistant assistant offensive coordinator, uh, assistant head coach, whatever. So he didn't have a good record. He's on the hot seat. He's literally like he's most voted to get fired. He's most likely to get fired first out of any NFL coach. And he turns this team around along with Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase, who was doubted in the draft, fifth pick overall. They picked him over Penei Sewell, and the NFL media went insane. And look what happens. You doubted everything about this team. His preseason drops, you doubted his preseason drop. You thought he was a bust. You thought the Bengals, you didn't mention the Bengals in the AFC North in the preseason. You thought it was going to be the Browns, Steelers, or Ravens. This team was not supposed to be here, and yet they proved the entire NFL wrong, and they made it. They finished the season 10-7 after starting after starting 5-2, beating the Ravens, blowing out the Ravens. Then they lose two straight to the Jets and the Browns. And then they're 5-4. They dismantled the Steelers and the Raiders, and now they're 7-4. They get blown out by the Chargers, but it was a close game in the middle. And then a heartbreaking loss to the 49ers, 7-6. It's not looking good. And what happens? Joe Burrow takes his brace off, and the defense plays lights out in 3 straight games. They knock out the Broncos. They knock out the Ravens again. And Joe Burrow throws for 525 yards. And then they go into Cincinnati and beat the Chiefs and win the AFC North. And that AFC North was tight. So if they lost and then they lost to the Browns next week, the Browns would have won the division. Think about that. Think about that. And then the Steelers snuck in. Like, it was just, this was just an insane season. And the Bengals took advantage of this crazy season. They're like, hey, we want to be in the Super Bowl. They talked about it right after they beat the Chiefs. They talked about it since the beginning of the season. And everyone's like, oh, you guys are fucking crazy. Look at these delusional Bengals fans talking about the Super Bowl. They win their first playoff game in 31 years against the Raiders, 26-19. Jermaine Pratt catches the interception within the closing seconds. Next week, Joe Burrow gets sacked 9 times. 9 times. Yet the defense catches 3 interceptions by Ryan Tannehill. Within 20 seconds, one of them within 20 seconds of the game ending, and the game's tied. And Joe Burrow, regardless of getting sacked 9 times, he throws a dime to Ja'Marr Chase about 25 yards, and they get in the field goal range. And Evan McPherson drills a 52-yarder with no hesitation. Next week, AFC Championship, the Bengals have to go to Arrowhead and win the game to advance to the Super Bowl. And the Bengals come out victorious. Regardless of what anyone said, it was 21-3. Everyone thought the game was over. But the Bengals march back in it. And they did this when they beat them in the regular season. No one thought they could do it again. No one thought they could do a 14-point deficit, let alone an 18-point deficit. And they did it. They proved the world that game was not a fluke. And they're in the Super Bowl. After 2 years ago, they were 2-14. It's an incredible story for Cincinnati. Incredible story for the sports world. That trust in the process and you can do anything. And that's why, even if I wasn't a Bengals fan, I would believe this team is written in the stars to win the Super Bowl this year. It is the year of the Tiger. It is almost destiny that the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. So my pick is indeed the Cincinnati Bengals. And regardless if we win or lose tomorrow, I hope this game is great. And I am not disappointed in this season. We were supposed to go 4 to 6 wins. Some people even had us going 2-15 this season. And look what happened. Just an amazing story. Like an incredible, like one of the best sports stories in my opinion, even if I wasn't a Bengals fan. So, yeah, win or lose, this season has been amazing. If we were to go multiple Super Bowls, no season's gonna feel like this season. This season was great. It was everything that the Bengals fans have dreamed about, everything I dreamed about. So, with that, I want you guys to have a great offseason. And just enjoy this Super Bowl for what it is, because Tom Brady retired. And we're about to see who's going to become the next Tom Brady in the near future. So you guys have a great season. I will see you guys next year for you NFL fans. If you guys want to follow me in the YouTube, I'll be posting a lot of gaming videos. A lot of people I've been playing Wordle a lot, so I think I'd like to record some Wordles. Do that. That's very popular right now. So yeah. With that, enjoy the show.